And that's all for now. Please stay tuned for more headlines. For anything you might have missed, you can always find us online at i24news.tv. Thanks for tuning in.
Welcome back. A 3D technology to help you customize and design the sexiest lingerie and...
Watch Holy Land Uncovered every Sunday at 11 a.m. only on i24 News. Unflinching, opinionated. Weeknights David Schuster and Michelle McCory bring you analysis, interviews, and opinions that connect us to the Middle East and the world. Watch Crossroads, weeknights beginning at 6 p.m. only on i24 News.
Welcome back. King Solomon, King David, and King Elvis. The Elvis diner next to Jerusalem is likely to be the biggest Elvis shrine in the Middle East. Culture correspondent Daniel Campos with the story.
Thousands of Elvis Presley fans are making the pilgrimage to Graceland to pay tribute to the King of Rock and Roll 40 years after his death. From the United States to Japan and the Philippines, no singer has ever had a cult following like Elvis, to the point that many feared him. FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover warned that Presley was a definite danger to the security of the United States. In Indonesia, they burned his records. While in Israel, his music wouldn't play on government radio, but it was still the soundtrack of an entire generation in Israel, thanks to shortwave radio and vinyl record exchange. Uri Yoel, founder of the only Elvis restaurant of such a magnitude in the Middle East, is one of his cult followers in the Holy Land, a bizarre shrine in the middle of nowhere, right before the ascension to Jerusalem.
The place opened 42 years ago. Why? Because in my youth, our favorite singer was Elvis. I had pictures at home. I brought him here. It was a small restaurant, not big like it is today. It all started with me bringing some pictures from home and putting them above the cash register. People loved it, so I brought more and more. Today is 40 years since the death of Elvis. Later today, impersonators will come sing and pay tribute as it's done every year. I saw him live in Salt Lake City in 1972. I didn't move the entire show. I was like a statue. It was an amazing concert. Incredible. I will never forget it. I've also been to Graceland many times. I'm a regular guest. I also had to get the permit to use his name. It didn't come from the sky. It's a trademark.
I love Elvis. I love Jim Morrison. I love John Lennon. I love classic American music. So this feels like home.
Everybody knows Elvis Presley. So this is very unusual in the Middle East and the world, this Middle East world, to find such a nice center.
In 2013, the Elvis Diner was on the route of the first ever Elvis Holy Land tour, with some of Elvis's original gospel backup singers. Elvis never performed in Israel, although according to some biographers, Elvis was Jewish according to religious law, since the king's maternal great-grandmother, Nancy Burden Tackett, was a Jew, although the facts remain disputed. What is a fact is that Elvis did wear a necklace with the Hebrew word Hai, meaning life. Reporting for i24 News, Daniel Campos.
Who knew? All right, sometimes we wonder if men are all talk when it comes to sex and sexuality, and here to answer some common myths and how often men really think about sex is sex therapist Shelley Вород. Hello.
Hi.
All right, so we had a lot to talk about because there's so many studies, and then we have like 3 variations of the same topic of like, let's talk about men and the myths about men and libido and sexuality.
So the most common one I would say is that men think about sex every 7 seconds. I was like, really? So finally we got a guy, it was 7 seconds. Like every guy in the news just thought about sex. You see the word? Exactly. It doesn't make any sense. But it was all over the place. I could read everywhere that someone said that men think about it every 7 seconds. And finally, I found a good research that was published at the Journal of Sex Research. And what they did is they took college age, which we'll talk about in a second, also men and women, aged 18 to 25, and they asked them to click on a little clicker every time they have a thought. Daily thoughts.
Well, the minute you ask them to click on the thought, they're just going to be like, click, click, click.
And also they write it down. I'm not sure how they quite did it. It's also about food and sleep and sex. So they have come to the conclusion that no, they don't think about it every 7 seconds, but they still think about it twice an hour.
Okay.
And the women think about it once an hour. Now, they're not sure if it's a change in a biological needs or it's a role, I would say gender bias thing, because women are afraid to say how much they think about sex. Women get judged if they say that, oh, I think about sex all the time.
Men can talk about it, oh, la, 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 but then if women do, you know, exactly.
Exactly. So they're not really sure where it's going to go, and I'm hoping to get more research so we can see, maybe at the end we'll find out that women think about sex even more than men.
Well, and there's also peer pressure, and like, you know, you have to wonder if these people really can answer completely honestly.
And it's scary. It's scary to say, yeah, I think about sex all the time. People are
But if you're a guy, you could just say it, even if it's not true, and it's expected.
And obviously they say a little bit more than it is, because every 7 seconds. The second myth that I want to talk about today is that men are always in the mood. So another research that was done, this time they interview men, 30 men. I know it's not a lot, it's not a big sample, but we got quality answers. They asked them to tell them these men are all in a serious relationship, long-term and romantic relationship. And they asked them to report what inhibit or pretty much what turns them on and turns them off about sexuality, and they realized, of course, they're not always in the mood, but the emotional connection, that was where most men said that they get turned on if there is a good emotional connection. Right. If there's a lot of fight.
So the mood kind of also just depends on the state of the connection of the relationship. So there's psychological and emotional.
And it's like us, isn't it? Like,
I mean, it's only human, right?
I mean, our libido.
If I'm mad at you, I don't want to hang out with you.
And
right?
that's another thing. Everybody says go for makeup sex. I'm like, it doesn't work, because obviously they mentioned that at the research that when they fight, their libido, sexual energy is not really high. They're not interested in having sex right now. The third myth I wanted to talk about is that kind of similar to what we mentioned, but I do want to talk about it a little bit more, is that men always have higher libido than women. Now, here's the thing. I work at a clinic, and I have a lot of women who come to me lately, different women, different couples, and they said something is wrong with me or something is wrong with my relationship. And when I asked what's going on, so they said my man doesn't desire me because I always initiate and I want, and he doesn't want. Now, the problem is, because they think men's supposed to have a higher libido, they take it to the wrong place. They think maybe he's cheating on me, maybe I'm not attractive, something is going on, instead of just understanding it's very natural.
Right. All right, well, to be continued. That could be the next one, is like how to go through the marriage and the relationship.
Mismatched libidos.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much. Good stuff today.
Thank you.
Coming up next, Justin Bieber and Kendall Jenner making headlines. This plus more Celeb Buzz with senior producer Devorah Charnas.
Israel, the Middle East, the world. Get your daily dose every morning on i24 News. News from around the world to around the corner. i24 brings you the top stories, the hard news, and analysis you need to know. Weekday mornings at 6 a.m. only on i24 News. Politics, economics, business, and technology. Get the real news and the real insight about what's happening around the world. i24 News' Michelle McCory breaks down the top stories of the day from the Middle East to the U.S. Weeknights beginning at 7 p.m. only on i24 News.
Welcome back. A lot going on in celebrity gossip, and joining us live is i24 senior producer Devorah Charnas, a.k.a. Devorah Kardashian Jenner. Hi. Please welcome. I just have to do it. It's just, I've never met a bigger fan than you.
Keep that for every single week. It's perfect.
We'll work on it. Okay, but you're not starting with Kardashian
No,
news today?
I'm not. Okay, I have a question for you. You know when you have a song in your head and you just can't get rid of it? You're singing it constantly in the shower, in the car, at work.
Always the most annoying
Ariana Grande also. She's a star, just, you know, she's a regular person just like us, and she had a song. I'll even see if you know what it is, okay?
Okay.
Stuck in her head. Let's take a look.
I'm giving you everything, all the joy I can bring. Yes, I swear, give you everything, yeah. All that I want from you is to promise you I'll be there.
She just caught that. Okay, so Spice Girls.